All right. For whatever reason, March has blessed us and has blessed us in the form of not one, but two pay-per-view events within 1 month. So, very excited for this card. Lee Edwards versus Usman 3. Let's get into this. Let's not waste any time. We're going to go over my predictions for the main card. Disclosures per usual. This is just my opinion. And we're going to open up this card with Martin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze. Uh, Um, so I admittedly have not watched Martin Vettori fight at all. I've happened to miss a good amount of his fights. And my only fight that I've ever seen from him live was his last fight against Robert Whitaker, in which he was completely outclassed. And, hey, losing to Robert Whitaker isn't really the worst thing in the world. Robert Whitaker is a beast. Um, and so where I was going with this, yeah, so I don't really have much experience and knowledge on Martin Vettori, admittedly. So I can't really say much in terms of what he's got. From what I understand, he has very good wrestling. I do understand that he just has a chin of stone. That dude is not going down. Roman Dolidze, let's talk about him. He's coming off of a victory against Jack Hermanson. Um, you know, accepted the fight on short notice, right? He was kind of the sub from Jack's other opponent. I don't remember who Jack's supposed to face, and won in a pretty dominant, clear fashion. Right, the dude is coming off of multiple TKO KO finishes. Right, so the dude's got a lot of power. Right, I don't see him finishing Martin Vettori. Right, but I think experience is definitely a play. Jack was Roman's first ranked fight, and now he's going straight to a top five contender, which is a huge step up. Which is why I can understand that he's the underdog. Marvin Vettori has gone through multiple, you know, five 5 round fights. Right, he has some few main events. He's beaten Kevin Holland. He's fought Izzy Adesanya. The dude's very good as well. So can't really say too much. Not really too particular. I might have to go. It all depends on the output. I don't think that Roman's gonna be able to lock up Vittori in that kind of oh, I forgot what it's called, that calf slicer like he did to Jack at his last fight. I don't think it's gonna come as easy. I think his output might do him well throughout the rounds and put him ahead on points. But of course, I don't think he's going to finish Marvin Vettori. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm admittedly not as familiar with these fighters, despite Marvin Vettori being a staple middleweight for a while. Um, I think this is going to go to decision. I'm fuck it. I'm going with Roman. I'm going with Roman, just for his output. Um, but Marvin Vettori's a tough dude. Fuck it. I actually don't know. I don't want to waste too much time on just this right here. Like I said, I'm admittedly still learning every single week, every single month, about fighters I just haven't caught with. Let's go Roman. Let's go Roman. I'm not against Martin Vettori, but I think that it'd be pretty cool to see him win. I think that he's been a more entertaining fighter in my eyes, and yeah, we're just gonna move on from there. Jennifer Maia versus Casey O'Neill. I'm going Casey O'Neill. I think that Casey O'Neill just has the momentum right now. Um, that's really all I have to say. That's probably um, not to put down the women's flyweight cards, but I think they're just more interesting matchups at women's flyweight that I want to see. And this is not one of those fights I'm super interested in. So with that said, I'm going to go Casey O'Neill by decision. Okay, next up, Gunnar Nelson versus Bam Bam. Now, I am a fan of Bam Bam. I do think he has a very entertaining fighting style, but as far as matchup goes, it might be a little tough against Gunnar Nelson. Gunnar Nelson is, a great grappler, and we saw that Bam Bam had a tough time against RDA in Bam Bam's last fight. Admittedly, Bam Bam was short notice from what I remember, but yeah, he was pretty comfortably controlled by RDA and ultimately submitted by like the second round. And so I feel like it might now, once again, no two fights are exactly the same. But, with RDA being more of a lightweight fighter than a welterweight, is this welterweight? Yeah, okay, this is at welterweight. So RDA is more of a lightweight fighter than at welterweight, even though he has fought at welterweight before. If someone like RDA, not putting down RDA, but if RDA, who's more of a lightweight, is able to comfortably control Bam Bam, I feel like Gunnar Nelson is more of a welterweight. He's a natural welterweight, might be able to control Bam Bam as well. Like I said, not trying to put down RDA, and not saying I am saying that No two fights are exactly the same, but I'm gonna go with Gunnar Nelson on this one. I can understand why he is a pretty big favorite in this fight. I do just see Bam Bam getting controlled unless he can just find that shot to to set up the combo that ends the fight. Otherwise, I'm going with Gunnar Nelson by decision. I don't know if Gunnar Nelson is as big a submission threat as RDA, but I do think he'll be able to control Bam Bam. I'm going with Gunnar Nelson by decision. And you know what? Let's be honest here. We are the most excited for these two fights, the main event and of course the co-main event, a lightweight banger, and Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. As you guys know, I am a fan of Justin Gaethje. I'm a big fan of Justin Gaethje. But yeah, he has a tough fight in front of him. And I think that's a part of the reason why I respect him so much. The dude's only taken, top 10 fights, either top contenders or up and coming lightweight stars. The dude's a veteran at this point. At first I was surprised that Justin Gaethje is the betting underdog because just compared the MMA experience between Gaethje and Fiziev. Obviously, Justin Gaethje has that in spades. The dude can take a lot of punishment and he can dish it out as well. The dude can fight for a long time. He can go through wars. Whereas Rafael Fiziev, this is kind of his first, top contender. And but with that said, as far as matchup goes, Fiziev is just like a ball of muscle, right? The dude is tough. He can take the damage. He can deliver it for sure. He's very technical. He's obviously the more technical striker. You know what I mean? Justin Gaethje is a great striker, but a part of it is his ability to just brawl, right? Fiziev is definitely more technical with it. He definitely picks his shots. He has the Muay Thai experience, so obviously he also has some experience fighting some really tough ass dudes, right? And I think his Muay Thai experience might be able to, I would say, completely negate Justin Gaethje's leg kicks, but in Muay Thai you're very familiar with leg kicks, so I feel like he might be able to check more. If he's able to check more, he can reduce the amount of damage delivered to his legs. He can fight better, set up more shots, and also he can prevent more shots being set up by Justin Gaethje because Justin Gaethje loves using that leg kick to set up shots. So I do think this is a tough fight for Justin Gaethje. I would have to say, if it doesn't get into a brawl, I could see Fiziev outpointing Justin Gaethje and maybe getting a late finish. I don't know, because like I said, Justin Gaethje is a tough MF, right? But when you think about it, how often in a Justin Gaethje fight does it stay slow pace? Like how often, if Justin Gaethje is the opponent, how often or how long does it go from a technical fight to a brawl? Justin Gaethje is really good about turning into a brawl, right? And I feel like after the opening round, it just might be swinging and banging where Justin Gaethje is guaranteed the most success. But that said, even if it does turn to a brawl, while that might be Justin Gaethje's greatest chance at a victory, it's not like Fiziev can't handle a brawl either. Even though he is a more technical striker, he has a more technical approach, with his Muay Thai, his, his punches, his kicks, his mix-ups, right? Fiziev could probably still handle a brawl himself. You know what I mean? He could probably still handle himself because he's just, this rock hard dude, right? Yeah, I might have to go with Rafael Fiziev by decision, maybe a late finish. But I think if it turns into a brawl, which I feel like it's inevitable, I think that Justin Gaethje might be able to pull on top. But even though I am a huge fan of Justin Gaethje, I would not mind if Rafael Fiziev gets his hand raised. And it does set up a potential fight against Dustin Poirier. But whoever wins or loses, this is going to be a banger. This is probably going to be the fight of the night. Right, I'm really looking forward to this fight. I love the lightweight division, and coming up to this last fight here, the most compelling one, I would say the most compelling one, Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman 3. Kamaru Usman's coming back again to challenge for his belt and get it back again. And now he is the favorite to win, but not as huge of a difference, in all honesty. I think Leon Edwards is like plus 600 or something like that, 500 when they last fought. And now it's the gap has shortened. There's a lot of factors to consider. If you're leaning Edwards, then you're considering that, hey, Leon Edwards is going to have that confidence, that extra boost of confidence that, hey, I knocked out the former pound for pound king. I set up that shot. I was losing the fight, set it up, and I won. He's fighting in his backyard. Got to consider that as well as no altitude. Altitude? Altitude. Excuse me. Um, altitude is not going to play as much as a factor in this, and he might have more in the gas tank to be able to defend for longer. We saw in that first round, and Edwards versus Usman too, Leon was able to defend well. He took down Usman, right? When he had the gas tank, he did pretty well, and I feel like he's going to have a better gas tank. It will be a better performance, I reckon, from Leon Edwards. And after a knockout like that, Kamaru Usman's 35, right? You take a vicious knockout like that at that age, um, you know, not super old, but chances are past your prime. And once you're past your prime, you never know when it comes to combat sports. You can regress overnight. You know, you could still be, you know, a top fight for a long time like Glover Teixeira, or something like Tony Ferguson. You take a fight with all that punishment, and Tony Ferguson hasn't won since that Justin Gaethje fight. So there's a lot of factors going into this, but on Kamaru Usman's side, the outcome doesn't always tell the full story. Yes, Leon Edwards won fair and square, knocked him out. He won the fight. Didn't matter that he was losing the fight, at least for that outcome. But when you look at that fight, Usman was comfortably winning, right? He was dominating. He was cruising to a fairly uncontested decision, apart from one round. The dude's got a lot of power, a lot of strength. Um, so I feel like he's still going to come in pretty deadly. I don't know if that knockout's going to change him or it regressed him. You just don't know when it comes to combat sports, but it is likely, being older and taking a knockout probably isn't the best. Um, I would say the only thing I can guarantee is that if Leon Edwards goes for the legs, one oblique kick to the knees of Usman, that might be all she wrote. You know what I mean? But that's the only thing I can really guarantee. I'm generally not sure. I'm very compelled by this fight. My head says Usman just based off of that last performance. But like I said, there are factors that play into this that can make a lot of people believe that this fight might not go the exact same way. It could, but also could not. Once again, this is a game of edges, a game of inches. You never know with the sport. My head says Usman. As far as my heart goes, I'm not particular about either of these fighters winning. I'm just looking forward to a good fight and just a good end to this trilogy. And yeah, I might have to go with Usman by decision, but I'm also not really too confident leaning because once again, I think I really need to see those first two rounds to see what Leon Edwards has improved on. But yeah, so I think that's that's it. Let's just go over these. I'm going with I don't even remember who I put. I mean, I'm not. Let's just okay. Middleweight bout. Let's just hope for a good fight. I might have to go with. I don't even remember what I said before. I'm not too particular about this. Um, Casey O'Neill by decision. Gunnar Nelson by decision or late sub. Rafael Fasiv by late finish. Justin Gaethje would need a finish to win. I don't see him outpointing Fasiv, so most likely Fasiv by decision or late finish. And then here I'm gonna go with Usman by decision. All right. So thank you guys for watching. Um, there's a lot of great cards along the way, but I'm really looking forward to this one. UFC 286 in London. It's going to be hype. It's going to be awesome. And yeah, if you disagree with anything that I said, agree or disagree, let me know. Feel free to give any input on the other fights that I have not mentioned, especially the Jennifer Maia versus Casey O'Neill, Martin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze. Feel free to give your input, please. And yeah, so looking forward to another great night of fights. Let's have fun out there. I'll catch y'all later.